US President Donald Trump is keeping his options open on whether Iran is still firmly on his radar, as he refuses to lock himself into one course. Trump has still not ruled out a military strike against Iran, and even against Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei, keeping the threat deliberately ambiguous. Rhetoric has sharpened further after Iran warned it would cut off the hand that attacks Khamenei, framing any strike as a personal red line. As the world waits for a possible Trump strike nod, the U.S. military buildup in the Middle East appears to be ramping up across air, sea, and ground domains. U.S. naval assets, air defense systems, refueling tankers, and ground equipment have been moving discreetly, suggesting quiet positioning before any decision. The war zone reported that the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group has been traveling dark toward the Middle East, meaning it is operating with its transponder off. Reports also say F-15E Strike Eagles and KC-135 Stratotanker refueling aircraft are en route, expanding both strike reach and air defense endurance. In fact, CENTCOM appeared to send a veiled message by posting an image on X of an F-15E landing in the Middle East, highlighting readiness without stating intent. On the naval front, reports say the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group has been redirected from the Indo-Pacific toward the Middle East, signaling a shift in priorities. Tracking summaries say the carrier group passed the Strait of Malacca and moved through the Bay of Bengal, indicating a direct route toward the region. The war zone reported the group has been operating dark, with its transponder off, a move often used to reduce public tracking and operational exposure. In the air, F-15E Strike Eagle fighter jets have reportedly been deployed from RAF Lakenheath in the UK, bringing a platform suited for deep strike and air interdiction. The F-15E can support both strike missions and missile or drone defense, giving commanders flexibility depending on Iran's response options. Aerial refueling is also being reinforced with KC-135 Stratotanker aircraft, which allow fighters and bombers to stay airborne longer and strike from farther away. On logistics, C-17 Globemaster III cargo aircraft have reportedly surged toward the Middle East, moving troops, air defense units, and heavy vehicles rapidly. Some reporting claims roughly 75% of the entire C-17 fleet has been active in the last 2 weeks, suggesting a major lift tempo even if destinations vary. On the ground side, reports say M1 Abrams tanks and M2 Bradley infantry fighting vehicles have been airlifted into the region, though their exact mission remains undisclosed. Air and missile defense is also being strengthened with systems such as the Electronic Advanced Ground Launcher System, a counter-drone weapon that uses laser-guided 70mm rockets. As a baseline, reports say around 30,000 U.S. troops are already in the region, alongside 6 U.S. warships operating under CENTCOM and multiple layered air defense systems. Even with roughly 30,000 troops, tactical aircraft, and 6 warships, analysts argue this posture alone may not be enough to cause decisive damage to Iran in a major war. New reports suggest Washington is still devising decisive military options, implying the current buildup may be preparation rather than the final package. Iran, meanwhile, is working to bolster long-range capabilities amid fears of war with the US and Israel, seeking deterrence through reach. Tehran has claimed it successfully tested a ballistic missile with a range of 10,000 kilometers, though independent confirmation remains unclear. If verified, such a capability would place parts of the United States within striking distance, changing the psychological and strategic balance of threat. The Wall Street Journal reported Trump is pushing aides to formulate a military plan for Iran, indicating active deliberations rather than a closed decision. Reports say key Iranian centers, including IRGC headquarters nodes, are among top U.S. strike targets, suggesting leadership and command structures could be prioritized. Earlier reporting claimed Trump held off on strikes because doubts grew over whether military action could actually deliver regime change, making the end state uncertain. Trump is also said to want to avoid a prolonged war with Iran, and may not strike unless he believes the outcome will be clear and contained. On January 20th, Trump told reporters the military strike option is still on the table, keeping pressure on Tehran without committing publicly. At the same time, Trump repeated his claim that Iran is no longer executing protesters, framing his threats as having produced a change in behavior. He claimed Iran was going to hang 837 protesters, but backed off after America's warning, presenting deterrence as already working.
President, I want to ask you about Iran. Is the military option still on the table? And can you assure us that the killing in Iran has stopped? And when regard to the peace council, Which members have to pay $1
So
billion?
with Iran, are you from Iran?
No, I cover the White House.
Where are you from?
I'm Palestinian American.
So with Iran, they were going to hang 837 people, and I let them be known that, and we let them know that if that happens, that will be a very bad day for them. And they decided not to do it. They didn't hang the people. I can't tell you what's going to happen in the future, but supposedly they've taken that off the table. But they were going to, last week, they were going to hang on Thursday or Wednesday. They were going to hang, I think, 837 people, and they didn't hang anybody. So we're just going to have to see what happens with Iran. Is the military option off the table?
On January 19th, Trump also dropped a hint that he could visit a free Iran before his tenure ends, reinforcing the idea that regime change remains part of the narrative.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.